Welcome to Beyond the Business Card podcast.
People around me tell me shut down the office, close it down, it's not working, it's taking a lot of time, but I'm a stubborn person. If I start something, I hate closing.
Yeah. From aerospace engineering to digital media, Shadi Abdulhadi's career took an unexpected but remarkable turn. Born and raised in the UAE, he studied aerospace engineering in London before returning home to work in investment while earning a master's in marketing communications. But his true calling is building brands in the digital age. In 2011, Shadi founded Boopin, a full-service media agency that started in Dubai and quickly expanded across Asia, servicing clients in Abu Dhabi, Riyadh, Bangalore, Shanghai, and as far away as Singapore as well. All of this and beyond. His first client was a government entity, and from there, he's never stopped. Today, Boopin is one of the UAE's fastest growing agencies, known for its bold, data-driven approach to digital marketing. With a passion for innovation and a keen eye for what truly connects with people, Shadi has helped global brands make an impact using technology, creativity, and smart strategy to reach the right audiences in a meaningful way. Let's dive into Shadi's journey, how this entrepreneurial drive, shaped by his father, led to the creation of Boopin and the lessons he's learned all along the way. Shadi, I'm delighted to welcome you here today.
It's my pleasure having you.
Thank you so much for inviting us to your offices. Now, obviously in this podcast, what we do is we unpeel the entrepreneur behind the business. Okay, we try and understand motivations. We try and understand the person behind the business card. Do you? I think what I'd really like to do and start off this podcast, just understanding your origin story. So, Shadi, what actually led you to come to Dubai in the first place?
I was actually born and raised here, so that's one of the things that...
Well, that would help.
100%. So it gives you the motivation basically and it shows you the visionary that the country has worked on and how completely changed. But then I've seen it all, let's say, basically. And after that, I did my degree in London in 2003 up to 2006. But my degree was completely in different major. So I've done something. My major was in aerospace engineering. Came back, worked for an investment company. Meanwhile, I was doing my master's. I completely changed my major. Never worked in aviation. Changed my major to marketing. I did diploma in digital marketing. I did master's in advertising or marketing communication. I did a couple of certificates, which is the CIM certificate, the Chartered Institute of Marketing. And then I decided to open Boopin in 2011. That's how it started.
Okay, well that was a fast forward there.
Yeah, kind of.
So you're born and raised in Dubai.
Yeah.
So whereabouts did your parents come from then?
So my father and my mother are the Palestinians. My mother is Georgian Palestinian. My dad is Palestinian.
And what made them come to the UAE?
My dad came here. My father came here since almost 1980. He was 18 years old.
Wow.
19 something.
Yeah. And what was he doing out of interest?
He came for a holiday and it turned out to be the rest of his life.
Oh wow! So I'm seeing a like father, like son.
He just came for a holiday and then he never went back.
Okay.
He went back for holidays. That's it.
And did he meet your mother out here?
No, he met her in Jordan.
Okay. So he came for holiday
in Jordan. Yeah, he was on holiday in Jordan with my mother.
Fabulous, yeah. Fabulous. Okay, well that's amazing. I mean, the fact that you got to obviously born here, you saw the change and how the city evolved, and clearly from your studies, marketing communications was a passion of yours. What was the reason? Why was that out of interest?
To be honest, when I started working for the investment company, I moved in internally to certain different departments. And marketing itself, I enjoy to network with people, and that's one of the reasons I kind of tried to change my major from aviation to marketing. The reason why as well is when I came back from London, aviation here as an industry, unfortunately, that time, especially when it comes to engineering, it's super competitive. From a salary brackets or like with all my respect to certain nationalities, they get to have like a huge number of population of them. They select such a major. So I got some offers from Emirates and some certain places in Toulouse and like Europe, but then it wasn't the package I wanted to do. Like the package I was looking for. So I decided to work for an investment company that actually there were 14 people when I started with them. When I left, there were about 600.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And that was all because of you?
No, nothing. I was the youngest one in the company. Actually, to be honest, Then it got acquired by the government here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that must have been a really interesting at the time that Dubai was growing the way it was,
Yes.
moving into an investment company.
Correct. I was in the first building. Our office was in the same building where Amar Sales was, the first office of Amar Sales headquarters.
Wow. Okay.
So I've seen it all. I used to see people queuing up from 5 o'clock in the morning for a token just to walk in towards Amar Sales and they sell the token.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm intrigued because obviously you must have worked on a really diverse portfolio then as well.
Yeah.
What do you think you took from that experience working at the investment company?
Relationships mainly, to be honest. The disciplines behind it. There are multiple factors. I never so for me I was 21 years old. It was just the first job, so it gave me the ability to understand a bit of financial from an investment perspective, the potential of networking with people. These are the stuff that I used to focus on.
Gotcha. Okay. So the way you told your story, you sort of fast forwarded then, you sort of, when you worked for an investment company and then you went and set up Boopin.
Correct.
Now, if I understand this correctly, then you weren't working in the marketing communication
Never
space. You were working in the investment space, completely different industry, and then just decided that you would open up. Did you see an opportunity because of the work in the investment area? What led to that decision?
Honestly speaking, the idea of Boopin was because there were a lot of digital publishers at that time, but then advertising itself was not introduced to all the platforms. So let's say Meta or Facebook was there, but they were not monetizing from ads yet. And they started actually end of 2011, mid of 2011. There were certain publishers where you could basically advertise in, and certain platforms under Google. And I saw an opportunity where basically, when I was, doing my master's, doing my diploma and all that, found an opportunity where basically there are not a lot of agencies that does that. Not the global ones are not still yet implementing it. So I decided, why not?
Okay, so you kind of
I've always wanted to do something by myself.
You've always, and why is that, do you think? Do you come from a family of entrepreneurs?
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
He flips a lot. So
okay.
I like that about him as well.
Okay. So it sounds like you kind of had this idea in your back pocket, and when you were working you were thinking about there could be an opportunity in this space, and you kept an eye on it, and then you saw it was the right opportunity to strike?
It was the right opportunity at the right time, to be honest, because as I said, there were not a lot of media agencies or digital agencies in the market. And I'm a kind of person, we started in June. I remember 24th of June 2011. It took me about 3-4 months to basically knock at the doors, and I used to walk into every single, let's say, clinic, small clients, governments, etc. And then it kicked off.
Okay.
The first client was a government client.
Okay, so when you started, you obviously started with no clients, no money. You bootstrapped it yourself completely.
I think it just was me, and there were 2 guys. One of them stayed with us till 2019, and he moved to San Diego. The other one is actually still with me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
He's 54 years old now.
Oh, fantastic.
So, yeah.
Okay, what was it like? So for anyone, there might be some people watching this that don't understand what the digital landscape in the UAE or in the GCC was like in 2011. I was obviously here, and I managed to build my recruitment business on the back of the fact that I was bringing digital talent to the region. I saw there was a gap there. But at that time, it was probably safe to say that the region was about 5-6 years behind any other market, right? That's not the case these days, but in those days that was. So it must have been a real struggle to sell your idea into clients when really it was a medium that wasn't being used so much. So I'd be interested to understand in those early days what some of the challenges were.
So, for example, I will tell you, our first client was Dubai Economic Department. It took me some time to basically convince.
That's quite a big client to land.
I got a call from one of the guys. It turned out we were actually in the same university in London. We never knew each other, but we had a lot of common friends, and we became really close friends. He gave me a call. He was like, "Do you guys do this? We want to do these services." I remember sending him a proposal and a quotation, and if you see the quotation and proposal that time, you'll be like, "What is that?" But he called me the same day, and he's like, "Can we kick off?" And it was a quite good amount. We kicked it off. I never met the guy. The second day he called me. He's like, "Can we meet?" We met. That case study itself. It opened up a lot of doors with me in the government sector, to be honest. So after that, we worked with Dubai municipalities. We've launched a lot of amazing clients. We've actually did a lot of amazing initiatives. So from the SMEs, small medium enterprises, Dubai Economic Department, the Dubai municipality, we launched Makani, for example, the the location-based app. We've done a lot of interesting stuff. And what I've done is basically any kind of work we used to do, or billings, or profit or margin, I used to reflect it immediately in the agency and bring people that knows the market and knows the industry better than me. And until now, basically, anyone I speak to in the office, I make sure that I learn from them.
Okay.
We have the best talents who are already reaching out to 200 people at the moment.
So, but I'm quite intrigued. You hadn't worked in advertising agencies, so you're going to market, you're pitching people ideas, but you've never actually put a campaign together before. No. So did they know that you were just
off record? If I show you the stuff I opened up beside Boopin, you'll be like, "What are you doing?" I have a lot of other stuff on the side that Boopin made me and gave me the ability to do it.
Gotcha.
But then it's the main baby that I have.
I mean, but you obviously you knew, you had an idea. I assume the two guys with you, they were your implementers.
If I go back to 2011, me picturing what we have achieved so far, no, I never thought I would be reaching here.
Gotcha. But so once you managed to I imagine you got once you got the account, you had to quickly hire a bunch of people. Yeah. How did you get the team together?
The first job we started was mainly a media planning, media buying thing. So back in the days, is like you were not even able to book everything. You used to book it with third-party publishers. Yeah. So it's an easy process that you could do. We had a designer that used to help. And then I was making like this. The fourth person I got on board was a developer. The fifth person was more of a designer. So I started working towards creative kind of stuff. And then more of a media planners, account managers, account directors, and that's how I scaled it up.
Gotcha. And what you've touched on here is like a fundamentally important thing that I tell a lot of people about opening a business or running a business here. You clearly, because you were from Dubai, you leveraged into relationships. You immediately saw there was a connection, and you've leveraged into those relationships. This is not a transactional region. This is a relationship-driven region. You were able to push that, and that's how you landed a whale of a client, by the sounds of it.
And understanding the culture itself does play a significant role. So I speak the language.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and you're born here, so you can tell the story.
I studied in government schools.
Yeah, you go.
I was in private school. He moved me out to government.
Very
school.
Smart.
No, he had to.
Yeah, very smart.
For me only.
Yeah, okay, gotcha. Oh, right, okay, just for you.
Actually 6, I'm the oldest.
Yeah.
And I was the troublemaker, basically.
Okay, so you had to go into the government school, which was a blessing by the sounds of it.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, got you. So, look, obviously you've managed to get into the government sector, which many people won't know if they're not in the region, that the public sector really does drive so much in this part of the world. I think, it is I've always seen it's been the sector that drives everything. Yes, the private sector is great to have from a logos and portfolio, but you really, if you want to drive and be part of change, having a public sector portfolio is 100%. Very, very special.
If you look at post-COVID, for example, most of the global agencies started pitching towards government. Before that, no one used to care.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the reason why is because of a lot of private clients tend to reduce their budget post-COVID. So you would see a lot of initiative that comes out from the government itself with a huge budget, and a lot of the international agencies are jumping on it.
Yeah, I saw it from our recruitment businesses itself as well. All of a sudden, I could see that any one of our customers that was agency or consultancy focused that had a public sector backbone, they were flying.
Yeah, 100%.
They were, and as a result, my business went with any e-com business or digital business that we had did pretty well. Any public sector focused business did pretty well. I saw it play out with my own hands. So things are going well. You've gone 2007. You started. Give me an idea. How does the timeline go from there?
Took us, so the first year was a small number of billings. We got 1 or 2 clients, that's I remember, but it was a good amount that we kicked off with. Second year, we landed a good number of clients. We achieved an 8 figures number, I remember, something
Fantastic.
Like this.
Yeah.
And the agency expanded so quick. In 2015, I wanted to expand. Unfortunately, the region that time was not helping.
The oil price had collapsed.
Not only that, politically, there were a lot of issues around certain countries. So I had to look for another hub with a similarity of Dubai. And I did not want to go to Europe or the States or wherever markets, because I feel like it's not only the competitive, it's segregated in a way that it's not gonna take you to where you want. Singapore was the ideal place for me. So me launching an agency in Dubai, knowing the culture, having good connections, is something. Me going to a place that I've never been to, and I kicked off an office there, gave me a good lesson.
It sounds like your due diligence was was very detailed.
I was super young.
Yeah.
I started the agency. I was 25 years old.
Yeah. So Singapore, you kind of bought into the idea of Singapore. Much, to be honest, we've chatted off camera, and I thought I've opened a business in Hong Kong and Singapore. I guess I wanted to open in Asia because I was competing against it from a talent perspective. The markets that I was, when I was talking to a candidate, they were looking at Dubai, Hong Kong, or Singapore, and actually I was losing out quite a lot because in those days it was Singapore was seen as like the go-to destination. So I was very much gravitated myself that way because I heard about this illustrious hub. I hadn't really spent much time there, but you, by the sounds of it, had spent no time there. So
never been. I actually got an offer from Singapore in 2008 within Singapore Airlines, but I've never taken it. And it was an interesting market for me because I remember a lot of people I've worked with, especially in the economic department, they used to go to Singapore a lot and work with the government there to bring the experience to Dubai.
Yeah.
And I have a good close friend of mine. He used to tell me he works with the government here and he manages he's a board member of one of the government entities. He used to tell me that in late 90s, early 2000, they used to send him to Singapore to basically build the government, or let's say follow the steps that the Singaporean government has taken care of, and then implement the same in Dubai.
Yeah.
Now, if I speak to any Singaporean, they look up to Dubai.
Yeah. Actually, so when I first launched a business, it was the early days when Dubai tourism was really scaling, and the basic we were told to go and poach from Singapore.
Yes.
It was very clear.
The Dubai, when it started, the first two things Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid did, the port and Emirates Airline.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The port itself is exactly how Singapore started.
Yeah.
They started from the port, and it does play a significant number in their GDP till now.
So this was the reason why you thought...
I found it as a hub
Yeah.
because it was actually, and it's still the hub for Asia APAC.
Yeah.
As long as you exist in Singapore, you can easily maneuver or attract clients across the region. I was honestly, when I started, I wanted to expand around that region. Unfortunately, it took me some time to do that. But it was a good lesson because for me, it took me a year and a half to basically start on my feet.
Well, it's a complete different start to how you had in Dubai, right? You're born in Dubai. You can leverage on relationships. You understand the market. You speak the language. You've then gone and planted yourself in Singapore, and you've got everything I've just said. You've got none of that. So it's a whole new challenge in a whole new world. You obviously backed yourself, and you were young, as you said, young and naive, but full of bravado and bravery.
People around me used to tell me, shut down the office, close it down, it's not working, it's taking a lot of time, but I'm a stubborn person. If I start something, I hate closing.
You had to go for it. So what was that? What did Dubai look like then, and what did Asia look like by the end of the year first time that you...
This year?
When you set up in that year in Singapore.
So for Dubai, it was easy because, as we said, we understand the culture.
Yeah.
So it took us a bit of time, but then we kicked off.
So the business was in good shape here,
Yeah.
but over there...
So, to be honest, since 2011 till now, across all offices, we've never done 8%, less than 8% growth.
Fantastic.
This year itself, we've done almost 25.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So you got Singapore, moving even in year one.
Singapore is moving.
Fantastic.
Still, Singapore is a small market. We're talking about 2.5 million population.
Yeah.
But then now it does play a significant role. And with Jakarta being opened, we opened Jakarta last October, and there are about almost 20 people now. And it's picking up. It's doing really well. We're in the process, hopefully next year, to open Vietnam and Thailand. So let's see where it goes.
Amazing. I mean, you listening to you is the way you talk about it. You say it so easily that we're going there, we're doing this.
For me,
these are big decisions, by the way, that people spend a long time making.
People here, like the GMs or the regional C, we have a regional MD, for example. They keep telling me, calm down, let's take it slowly. For me, it's like, if I don't do it now, when will I do it? And I'm not in a hurry to expand as much as also I see opportunity. The team here, they back me up, so I don't need to get into operation details of aspect of it. So I know they're ready to get busy. I like creating stuff. I enjoy it.
Got you. Got you. I mean, when I assess risk, I look at what the worst can happen is, and if I'm comfortable with the downside, then I go with it. There's no harm in it. And but you've clearly got a strong risk appetite there, which probably leads me on to my next question. I'm sure everything doesn't go well all the time, right?
There is always hiccups.
So tell me about some of the challenges that you overcame in those days.
To be honest, the most difficult challenge was Singapore setting it up.
Okay.
Because I did not have a clue about setting up a new office.
Got you.
But then, for example, after that, we kicked off Shanghai. Shanghai, we opened before COVID. We opened in September. We actually onboarded an amazing team. We onboarded an amazing CEO. We onboarded certain clients. That was in September, mid of September. COVID hit in mid of December in China. So.
Wow. And what happened to them?
So they were still working with the clients. We had to let go a few of the people.
Yeah.
We still serve some certain clients from China. Also, it's managed by the Singapore team as well. And I'm hopefully also looking into expanding it, but China is a bit complicated.
China's very complicated.
It's an amazing market.
Yeah. Once you crack it.
I will tell you how we structured in China. So at the moment, and I assure you, I can bet on that, we're the only independent agency independently has access to such markets. I'm talking about Asia, APAC, Middle East, and China. No one has done it. And every single agency that would want to do that, would want to expand outside the Middle East, they follow the dream, setting up in New York or London.
Yes.
So the way we structured is we help clients in Asia, APAC, and the Middle East to go to China by setting up Chinese platform or doing the Chinese media landscapes. And at the same time, we're helping China. And in China, we don't compete with the global agencies because all of them, they actually implement the Chinese media landscape. So over there, we help Chinese clients to go outside China, which one or two agencies does that. So vice versa. That's what we're currently doing. And because of this, we built up a lot of amazing case studies. We're getting a lot of Chinese clients. We have good number of Chinese clients. We have a lot of Chinese clients. They're new in the country. They come and drop by to the office. That helps itself. Our website is in Chinese.
Got you. So you have, I mean, for people that don't know the Chinese market, and obviously I know it from having the Hong Kong business that we've got, it's a closed market. You have to have a local team. You have to understand the inner workings. They don't really want to see a foreign face. Yeah,
that's wherever we go, we recruit locals.
Gotcha. So speaking of recruitment, now obviously I built businesses not for people and built my own business. Building a business as fast as you've done, throws a heck of a lot of challenges for a young guy who set up a business and fast growing. I mean, and throwing all these people in, this must have been a real journey. Like, one of the challenges I found when we had like 45 people quickly was my job turned into a glorified HR person. I found it a real struggle. How have you coped with growing the business so rapidly and also the people that don't know some of the markets that you're in, particularly Dubai, it's a tough market to keep people in, right?
Yes, but then I would consider more of a partners. Like I'm lucky to have a certain number of profiles and seniority that back me up, and I consider them as partner much more than people who works with us. If each of them comes from a really strong background, I used to say, I just told you, like I used to be a stubborn person, used to try to manage everything by myself. Learning how to delegate and give up work and not to be involved, that taught me up that I need to give out, I need to delegate certain operation work to the right people for me to learn from them and for them as well to scale the agency itself. Across each office, we have a GM that comes from a huge background. The same thing, we have a regional MD that comes from a big background as well. All of them comes from top 3, top 4 agencies. The operation team, the creative directors, they come from a really also interesting backgrounds. They've been in the market for 15, 20 years. So, and I learn from them every single day. So that itself gives you the ability to focus on setting up new offices.
Gotcha.
At the same time doing stuff that you enjoy.
So you had to learn to take a step back. How easy was that?
I still it's a small step back.
Okay, fine. So if I had one of your GMs here and I was asking them how hands-on are you still in the business, what do you think they would say? Yeah.
15% less.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, I still get involved with certain clients.
Yeah.
To be honest, that actually clients that I've worked with for the past 10 years. I do still have clients that's been with us since 2014, 13.
Yeah.
Until now, and they still renew contracts. So these they've been with us for the longest time, and I make sure that I maintain that relationship, not because of the billings as well. It's just because of these clients that they're part of the journey of Boopin itself. So it doesn't make sense seeing them with someone else.
I'm assuming that's your UAE clients predominantly.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah. It's the same with me. I think people once they get to know you, they want to deal with
100%.
you. So you,
it's a relationship based.
Absolutely. But with that, I suppose it does. When you're scaling a business and you're so involved in this aspect, letting go must have been really hard. Yeah. It doesn't come naturally to you, does it?
That's why you try to make yourself busy with something else. Setting up Vietnam, for example, setting up Thailand. Yeah. That's what I'm trying.
Got you.
Meeting with new clients. I do. We don't have a business development team, so I tend to do that always.
Okay, and that's a passion of yours. So sales.
I love meeting people.
Sounds like sales is such an underrated skill. It's a dirty word. It's the backbone of everything. Every successful entrepreneur I've met is a great salesperson. So I'm interested. So where is the business? Because there's lots of different countries you keep mentioning here. So for anyone that's watching this, let's just get some clarity. What Boopin's footprint is today.
So Dubai, Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
Riyadh, Jeddah. Jeddah is a new office. Cairo, Tirana in Albania, Bangalore in India, Shanghai, Singapore, and Jakarta. So 10 offices.
Okay.
We're tapping to 200 people, almost 190 something.
190 people. And you're opening up new markets in?
Hopefully, Vietnam and Thailand.
Next
year, that's the plan. Alongside India office, planning to open Mumbai or New Delhi.
Okay. Yeah. And that services just the whole market. Yeah, it's your...
Correct.
Yeah.
As India, because they have different regions. So.
Okay. Yeah. There's a couple in there which make me go, well, that's interesting. Albania being one of them. What's the reason and rationale behind that?
I actually got a call from someone to set up an office there, and they had a certain number of clients. And I was like, I don't know what kind of person let's do that immediately. For example, in Albania, there are 3 banks, and the 3 banks are with us.
Right.
But the billings are small, but the whole concept in Eastern Europe, it gives you that footprint in a way that basically if you would want to expand in Eastern Europe, because it's actually picking up like Serbia, Romania, as well as with Greece, because they consider them all one region. It's a potential market. So maybe we explore it, but not at this stage.
Okay.
We actually pitched one of our clients, an education client reached out to us because of that
really?
And they were in London. They wanted an agency that has a footprint in the Middle East and Asia, but at the same time close to Italy. And
yeah, you
that
got
made
it.
Sense. We got the Asia APAC, and we're working towards something else.
Gotcha. Excellent. And just give us the viewers and listeners an idea of what the type of work that you guys do as well.
All right. So we started as a digital agency, but at the moment we're fully integrated. So when I say we're fully integrated, we do everything when it comes to media planning and buying, performance marketing, content and community management, for creative, PR, and development. So it's a one-stop shop that basically we serve a lot of clients from A to Z, and then we serve a lot of clients with certain services. We started as a purely digital agency, performance. Everyone knows the sale in the market is a performance agency. Still our billings, 80% of it comes from performance.
Gotcha.
But we have amazing clients across other services as well. We've done recently a lot of interesting case studies.
Okay.
As well.
And I noticed on your profile, you've got a few other interests outside of Boopin. So what else are you doing?
I do have a small VC that we invest in startups. So we've done around 8 to 10. And F&B outlets. It's a franchise from London.
Yeah.
We have about 6 to 7 outlets.
Are you involved? Are you quite hands-on in any of these as well?
Not really. Then I oversee what's happening.
Okay.
We have a CEO for each of them. And then I tend to always contribute or see whatever opportunities in the market and where I can jump in with a small ticket.
Okay. Always looking for opportunity there.
I always do.
Okay. So the question is obviously
Actually, sorry, a guy came to me today to present a platform, and they just recently launched. It's a fraud. It's a fraud platform where basically they track any campaign bots. And end of the conversation, I was like, "Did you guys raise money?" He's like, "Yeah, but we're still blah blah." It's like, "Send me what you have. I'm interested." So I enjoy doing these things, and I enjoy doing it. That also it gives me the ability to network. It gives me the ability to increase my knowledge about certain verticals as well. And if it's something within our industry, why not?
Yeah,
we know how to add value.
You've touched on something there which I've talked about a lot, and that's obviously in my role in running a recruitment business, but also in doing this podcast. A learning mindset is basically the common denominator I meet with all entrepreneurs. No matter if people think, well, no matter how successful someone is, they never want to stop learning.
Yeah.
And you clearly touched on that just straight away. Then that's why you like getting involved in something. You always like to learn from it. What's like? Has there been any standout investments there, or any horror stories you want to share?
Not really. So far, so good.
So far, so good.
Nothing's extraordinary, and nothing has failed so far. So
okay.
Just there. What we usually do is we do early tickets. So
Gotcha.
the journey of these, would look at it, and within 4 to 5 years, and they're all new.
Absolutely. All right. It's a numbers game, a bit like it as well. So look, I believe in every entrepreneur's story, there's going to be a certain amount of failure that builds you, that helps you understand and learn and grow. You know, I'd be interested if you could share with us some of the a failure or something that's happened to you that you've really learned from, and so people here can understand. You know, it's not all so easy, and it doesn't all happen overnight.
Within Boopin, there is we never have or witnesses any failure. It's just the idea that, for example, as we said, like for example, Singapore took a bit of time to stand on its own feet. Personally, there were a couple of startups that we invested in that we don't see it failing, but then we see at a later stage you would see it not performing really well. So we don't contribute. We don't add. Like me being in such a startups, it's just an investor. So I don't have the ability or the time even to contribute from a time perspective. So I don't get my hands on it. Just a ticket that we purchase where we think this journey of this startup or this entrepreneur that would go somewhere else. There is always risk. 1 out of 10 of every startups does really well. So that's normal. You need to understand the risk out of it. So,
and you're a man that's not afraid of risk.
Where are you going to lose?
Yeah, where are you going to lose? Exactly.
So this is exactly what I tell my people here. Yeah. Our industry itself is an industry up and down. Thank you. God blessing is we've been doing growth every single year. And every single year, on the beginning of the year, we do have retainers, we do have contracts, we do have a retention of certain clients that we know how much they're going to spend, but you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So you're always at this stress in how much numbers you're going to get, what are your billings, and like the financial aspect. And because for me, for example, we do 9-figure numbers. So, and it's purely still now by myself. So to manage that financially, it takes the guts. Like you need to have the balls to do it.
How does it make you feel when you know you're doing 9-figure numbers?
The stress is nice, but you need to know how to handle it.
Did it surprise you when you saw, or did you know this was going to happen?
In terms of numbers?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at that.
See, I'll tell you something. We always laugh about it. So I was talking to the regional MD, and we were talking about next year, and I was like, "What's your target?" I actually doubled it. And he looked at me. I was like, "We agreed on that." He's like, "Let's take some time on it. 3 years, 2 years." But anyway, see, there is a lot of opportunities in the market, especially with our region here. So it's evolving. Saudi, when we opened Saudi, it's been 2 years now. It helped us a lot as well. That's where we got a growth of 22% this year. UAE, we've been doing the same numbers and a growth of 10% every single year. So it's evolving. And then the other offices are contributing.
What are you most excited about in the markets that you cover? What do you think is going to give you jet fuel?
I enjoy honestly working in entire new campaigns or new initiatives that does contribute to the societies. We've done and participated in certain campaigns within the government that has contributed to the society, especially during COVID. These were close to my heart. Winning accounts with the certain pitches where there a lot of competition on it, and then winning it, that itself is rewarding. It depends on the verticals. I enjoy every single vertical, to be honest. I usually love automotive and financials industries. They're too competitive. They're super sales driven, and us achieving these results, it's rewarding itself. Like it makes you understand that your team is in the right track from a performance level, from a technology or ad tech level. So that makes a difference.
Gotcha. And is there any sort of the regions that you cover, which ones are you most excited about?
So apart from the Saudi, for example, Saudi, I see for the next 10 years, you would see a lot of growth, especially when they got the World Cup now. For me, Jakarta is an interesting market.
Why Jakarta, out of interest?
Oh, it's still premature. That's based on the benchmark, based on the studies we've done. Me and the GM there, we're talking about 240 million people, and that's what the government knows. There are probably 100 million people that no one knows about. It reminds me of Egypt as a market as well. But then Indonesia itself as a market, they have over 15 unicorns. In the Middle East, we have 2.
It's unreal, isn't it? The population of Indonesia, I don't think it makes people realize just how big it is.
No, it's huge, and it has a lot of potential.
Yeah.
But it would take time, I think. And it would do really well when the entire story of Asia APAC completes. So you would need to have that picture or that footprint across Asia APAC for it to complete, because a lot of clients would tend to look for agency that has a footprint across the 5 countries or 6 countries, along with China or Asia APAC.
Yeah. I saw a study by Goldman Sachs. I think it was the most powerful countries, I think by 2070. I think Indonesia was number 5.
Brazil, Indonesia, Vietnam, Saudi. Actually, if you look at it, none of the European countries are there.
No. None. UK gone down to 11th, I think.
None of the European countries are there.
Yeah.
And most of them are from Asia.
Yeah, I saw that.
And if you look economically now, our top global brands, and we're not talking about Nike and Adidas and all these brands, but like upcoming new brands, they all come from Asia and China.
And that's obviously something you've got your eye on, to introduce Asian brands into other markets as well. Yeah. Okay. So you obviously COVID happened not that long ago, and I'm sure so everyone has their own wears a badge of honor on how they cope through COVID. In recruitment, it was a very interesting journey to be on. At one point, we thought the end of the world had arrived and no one was going to use recruitment anymore.
We're actually recruiting during COVID.
Well, yeah, but we were as well. What happened was it went very quiet. It was like a proper V shape for us. We went quiet for 2 months naturally, and then all of a sudden, when people realised that everyone was at home and spending, it went like jet fuel, and we shot up. So, tell me about your COVID story.
So, actually, when COVID happened, I was in China.
Oh, wow.
So I was lucky they didn't close the airport. But when I came back, Dubai, I remember they closed down in mid of Feb or beginning of Feb for a month. So, and we just moved to a new office that time in GLT. It was our 3rd or 4th office within like that time frame. And like we're like few people, like we're about 45, and actually we're working every single day. Luckily we had a lot of government entities. So, and these government wanted to prove that the initiative by His Highness Sheikh Mohammed Zayed or Sheikh Mohammed Rashid, that the government's still working, they were doing really good. The contribution towards the people and the residents. So we're getting a lot of campaigns. But that time, I remember, we had a client, an automotive brand, that they launched their e-commerce platform, and we worked on it. That stuff was really interesting. And I remember we were recruiting people, and one of my clients from the government, he called me, he's like, who recruits now? I was like, man, we actually need people. We stayed at home for a month and a half, and everyone from the office were like, let's go back, please, and all that. So we went back to the office 2 months after.
And you were able to come back to the office, no problem then?
Yeah, we didn't have any problems. The government didn't have any problems with people going back to work. But the thing is, following certain instructional guidelines.
Yeah. And it sounds like because you had a solid public sector portfolio,
it helped a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Was that the case in the rest of the business though? I mean, I was living in Asia at the time. And
I did that. So 2020, I didn't have, except Singapore, and Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and yeah, that's it. Shanghai was just a new office. I didn't have any of these offices. We did 4 offices in 1 year. We did Saudi, India, Albania in 1 year, and then Jakarta this year, Jeddah just a few months ago.
Okay. So 4 in a year. Did you plan on doing that?
No. So I'll tell you how it happened. When Saudi started evolving and the market kicked off, and after COVID, I was hoping to set up the business, but I was taking it slow to make sure that I have the right person, the right team with me structurally. I was lucky to find I'll call them my partners, the guys in Saudi. So it took me some time to do that, to kick off. We kicked off in February 2022. No, 20, what is it? Yeah, 20, no, sorry, 20, yeah, 22. What year are we now? 24?
We're just finishing 24.
Yeah, no, actually, no, sorry. We kicked off in February 2023.
Right.
A few months before it, I opened Bangalore. Bangalore was a plan we were working around. And then after Bangalore, after Saudi, we opened Albania in summer.
Gotcha. The Albania venture. Brilliant. Okay, so today sounds like the business is in a really healthy place. You've obviously grown a lot. The way the GCC countries have grown, you've obviously that's supported your business and helped it a great deal. You're now obviously piggybacking into Asia as well, and looking to leverage off the huge population and growth there. Is there any other plans to get anywhere else other than Middle East and Asia?
So you just said, if you look at the top 10 countries economically, globally in 2027, most of them are in Asia.
Yeah.
Apart from the Middle East or South East, I think. There is an interesting market I always look up to, or two countries actually, Nigeria and Brazil. But they're too far, so I don't think who knows?
I know a couple of customers that have tried to take on Nigeria. That is an interesting challenge in itself. But I think Nigeria was like number 4 in that list, by the way. It was really
Nigeria is, I think, the only African country.
Yeah.
Brazil is the only South American country, and then you have the States, and the rest are from Asia.
Yes. So what's when do you find time to sleep or to do anything outside of work?
So during the week, I make sure that it's just working period. I don't go out. Just like I do my own routines. On the weekend, I tend to do myself. I disconnect.
Okay. And what's life outside of work look like, if you don't mind?
Family, friends, going out, beach, etc. The usual.
Nice. You got kids?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. And so you got to juggle being a father along with all this as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
They're still young, so it's fun.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you know what? I've got 3 small kids, and I think actually them seeing me work, I think I believe in what my kids see me do rather than what I say is has just as much as impact, if not more. So the fact that they see me work hard, train hard, I think it just has a real imprint on there, and clearly it has with you, with your father as well.
It gives them that idea that how life should be from a discipline, or it gives them that motivation to look up to you. So
okay, what are you in the next? So if you and I was to have a conversation in 5 years' time, what would you expect the landscape to look like for Boopin? What would you expect the landscape to look like for you as well? I'm intrigued by this.
So, in 2015 and 2016, actually, we started onboarding a lot of ad tech tools. That's what makes us different from a lot of agencies. Okay. And the reason why I say it makes us a lot different from a lot of agencies, because let's say if we go to the global agency, they tend to have their own ad tech tools that's globally aligned. Local agency, they tend to be selective with certain ad tech tools that would contribute to their business. I'm a risk taker, so I throw in. As long as it does, and we understand that it would reflect in a good scale for the agency. So the media landscape, it evolves quickly, it changes quickly. You don't know what kind of platform would jump in 2 years that would take over a certain platform. So prediction from a digital media landscape, I think it will evolve, but it will evolve with AI being integrated to us much more, not only to the platforms, to our daily life. Like, for example, Dubai is introducing the flight taxi. Tesla is introducing the robots in a year or 2. You don't know what's gonna happen. Like AI itself, it does play a significant role in every single industry, not only advertising. And we need to know As an agency, we need to be able to adapt this quickly. And what's nice about us, we adapt immediately. So it's an easy decision to do that.
Got you. And what will life look like for you? Will you still be as hands-on and involved as you are now, you think?
So not much, because I do trust my team, to be honest.
Got you. Any plans to, what do you want to do with this? Do you want to continue to grow it to be the biggest, or
not? So we don't have a plan yet for an exit or anything, or IPO or whatever. We're just expanding. It's something maybe we'll look into the next 4 or 5 years. If we definitely find good partners, or we could do an IPO here. As of now, the entire focus is just an expansion and boarding clients, having the right culture, having the right team, and then leaving a nice footprint in the market. It's something like it's for me, it's just not financial. It's not only rewarding when you see the numbers. Financial is rewarding when you really create something and you see it really working. That's the fun part of it, and I enjoy it. I enjoy creating a business and just looking up to it and seeing it's flourishing.
So it's not the money that gives you the buzz. No. It's actually...
If it's the money, I wouldn't have expanded all these offices. I would have invested personally in certain stuff, real estate or whatever stuff. Like,
gotcha.
I would spend my last coin on an expansion.
Yeah, understood.
I'm being honest.
Understood. And I'm intrigued. Obviously, you're a phenomenal entrepreneur. It seems to be you've got the entrepreneurial spirit is alive and well within you. What would, if for anyone listening or watching this, what do you think, what sort of tips would you give someone when it comes to running a business? What could they learn from you? Could you give us
if I go back in time, I would have listened more.
Okay.
I've done so many mistakes. That's normal. It's a part of the game. Even I never used to listen when I was a kid. So that's the trouble stuff. That's why I was doing a lot of troubles. So if I go back in time, I would listen more. If I would go back in time and I would want to partner in a new venture, or would want to create a new venture, I would partner with someone that would contribute with me. It would give you a mental calm, which I'm sure you're already aware of, the stress that you get on a daily basis. These are the stuff, like finding the right partner or finding someone that contribute, or a great mentor, and listening to whatever, even if people talking negatively or positively about whatever you're going to create or whatever stuff you're doing, just listen to it. And you don't need to follow your heart. You need to just think of, am I doing the right step? Am I not? Don't be scared. Just you're not losing anything. If it's about money, I think money comes and go. So,
gotcha. Do you have mentors now?
I do have close friends that I look up to. They work in multiple industries that sometimes I tend to give them a call and ask for an advice.
But have you ever had like a business mentor work with you?
Within the industry, no.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know anyone in the I know people in the industry, but then I don't know, like I'll be honest with you. This is as we said, this is the first podcast I do. This is something, and everyone in the office, they used to tell me, why didn't you do interviews? Why did you do podcasts? Why did you do this and that? Or like go for a panel. For me, I want to have a step back behind this, and I will promote the agency as a name. I don't want to promote the agency because of Shadi. I want to promote the agency as Boopin itself. So even if Shadi, God forbid, and he's not there or is away, the company is there. So it's at the end, I'm creating an empire. I'm creating a company. I'm not creating something that belongs, because our business, like what you said, is a relationship based. So if it's a relationship based, if Shadi leaves,
absolutely,
it will be destroyed. I don't want it. I don't want that to happen.
Yeah, and it's a real look.
A lot of people don't know who's behind the agency.
Well, yeah, and it's a really interesting strategy you've got. One, it's very smart from obviously, if there's at any time you want to do something with the business, should it be you want to sell it or move on? Obviously, your name's not nailed to it. So
not only that, like I get to meet suppliers, for example, and they ask me, "What do you do with Boopin?" I'd be like,
they have no clue.
Know. A lot of people don't know. It's good. They know the agency name. I'm proud. Like I get to see people, like they know the agency, and that's what makes me proud. I don't care if they know who owns it.
So there's no ego there at all.
No, I don't have an ego.
Fantastic.
Why would you have an ego?
Well, look, I meet a lot of people that it's their show and they want people to know about it. Okay.
I'm so bad in social media.
Yes.
I don't post.
No personal branding. No. And I imagine you've got a marketing and PR person screaming at you, telling you should be doing
they
more.
keep telling me, but I just ignore it. I don't care about that. Like for me, it's just the agency. So I understand that it does add values for you, regardless personally or to the organization. But then for me, I would focus on the organization itself.
Yeah. And to be fair, you've done pretty well so far.
See, at the end, most of our clients comes from relationship, comes from references, comes from certain people that have been working with us and moved on to other client side. So as long as we deliver the right service with a good quality, with the quick responses, these things matters a lot. For me, these are the most important things. I don't care about whoever knows I would work with this agency because of Shadi or whatever name he is. So I would want to work with them because of their team.
Sounds like you're you know, my first boss said to me, "You're only as good as your last gig." I've always got his words in my ears, and you even with the success that you've got now, you still stand by that, by the sounds of it. You're only as good as the last job that you've done as a
100%. And all of this, it goes back. It's by the team and the structure that you have. You cannot clap your hands by yourself. So if I would go and say I'm gonna work with this agency because of this person, but this entire organization is not built up by one person. It's built up by a certain number of people.
Yes. Agreed. Fascinating. Well, look, thank you so much for sharing the journey today. And I think we're going to have a part 2 and come back in a year or so and see what other countries you've got opened up. And
who knows?
And who knows how long the list will be then. But Shadi, thank you so much. We're very honored. This is your first podcast that you've ever done. So thank you very much for that. Cheers.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys.